Hello, good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining us here on Freedom March. I'm Levin Miller, and you're listening to us on channel 103.5, the Beat FM, channel 224, and that's on cable, and of course, channel 112, that's on Flow, and of course, ILTV Studios over there on Facebook. I told you all that the only thing that could keep Andrew Holness from becoming a three-time prime minister was a heart attack. And while the opposition PNP was able to erode massively, some would say, into the margin of the mandate, what is fact is that Andrew Holness still enjoys a comfortable majority inside the Parliament of Jamaica. The people of Jamaica have chosen Jamaica. I want to implore the Prime Minister of the Bahamas that might be a wonderful slogan. Choose the Bahamas, right? Isn't that a wonderful slogan? And so we saw that message resonated all across Jamaica with the people of Jamaica. And some of them say that Andrew Holness is the best prime minister that they've ever had. He certainly goes down as a history-making prime minister, as the first leader of the JLP to lead it to 3 consecutive terms, as only the second Jamaican prime minister to have been able to be elected 3 consecutive times. And I'll tell you what is more fascinating. What is more fascinating is even if he loses the next election, he could possibly still serve a 4th term because he is only today 53 years old. And with the way Westminster politics goes, Westminster politicians, they like to die in office. They never retire from anything. And so, really and truly, Andrew Holness can lose the next election at 58, regain power at 63, and be prime minister again all the way up to about 67 years old, should he desire. All right? And that's actually quite interesting for me because when I consider the fact that we've had, in our lifetime, only 2 prime ministers that were young enough to squeeze 3 terms in before they reached the age of retirement, the Jamaica prime minister at 53 years old has already spent 9 years as its prime minister. And so I think this is a wonderful thing for people like Chester Cooper to look at. This is a wonderful thing for the Pia Glover Rules to look at. This is a wonderful thing for even people like the Jomo Campbells, who I consider a dark horse in the leadership race, to look at. That if you get in early enough, you have an opportunity to go in, to lead, and even if you lose, you can still come back and build some legacy. Don't move, you hear the jingle, we'll be right back. Hello, welcome back to Freedom March. Thank you so much for staying with us through the break. I'm Lieutenant Miller. Again, you're listening to us on channel 103.5, the Beat FM, channel 224, channel 112. That's on cable and flow, and of course on ILTV studios. But wherever you are choosing to listen to us today, we want to say thank you so much for listening to us. Today we have a special show planned for you, and we have some very special guests that are going to be joining us in studio, because we want to talk about some things that have made the news, have been in the news cycle. We want to also talk about some things that have been pressing in the minds of several people. We also want to talk about some things that are just matters that people that sit near to the issues want answers for. And so often, when we get the occasion, we invite the people that are the newsmakers to come here to Freedom March so that they themselves can tell us what it is, what is to be expected, and what is the goal. And I think that there's nobody better than the team of people that we're going to have coming here today. All right, so I'm going to be joined in studio shortly by a team. The head of that team will be the commander of the Defense Force. His name is Floyd Moxey. Of course, you know that today is day 120. So 120 days ago, he took over the reins of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force. Put up the graphic with the commander so that people knows who he is and what he looks like. And we're talking about a range of things that are going to help us to understand some of what it is that we see in the news, some of what we've heard in the news, and some of the things that we think or that we discuss in our spaces after we've heard the news. And so you know that Commodore Moxey came to office sometime earlier this year, and he has come at a time when there were many moving parts. And of course, you know, his appointment has seen many historic appointments. We're going to talk a little bit about that. He's come at a time where the world is calling for greater woman inclusion. And we want to talk to him a little bit about that. And so we want to ensure that you all have an opportunity not just to hear what it is us, the talking heads and the commentators and the pundits have to say about issues like the issues that we've heard in the news. Of course, since coming to office, he's also had a few challenges. And we want to know from the commander, how does this weigh in the commander's mind? What exactly is the commander's strategy? And how or what are the policies that are going to navigate us out of these situations? And so that is what we're doing. That is what we're going to be doing here today. And we invite you to stay with us during Freedom March, because we want to ensure that we inform, that we educate, and as often as we possibly can, that we entertain. So tell all your friends, tell all those people with their affinities and their nexuses to the Royal Bahamas Defense Force to stay close and join us so that we can inform them about what's been going on here in the Royal Bahamas Defense Force. At some point, the spiritual advisor is going to join me, and we will have some Holy Scripture for you. So we're going to also ask you to pull out your red Bible so that we can get to Holy Scripture, because as long as Bradley Roll, the spiritual advisor extraordinary and plenipotentiary, is in studio with me, then that must mean that we have Holy Scripture. And if we have Holy Scripture, then we want to see if we can dissect Holy Scripture for you and with you. And so he joins me, Bradley Roll,
late today.
spiritual advisor,
Good to be here.
extraordinary and plenipotentiary.
Good to be here.
And if you're here, then you must have Holy
Yeah.
Scripture for us.
Producer, could you pull up Numbers chapter 6? Let me tell you exactly how much verses here. We're going to look at this. I do apologize for being late. We're going to look at this Nazarite vow.
Mhm.
And let's, producer, if you can, Numbers chapter 6. We're going to look at from verse number 5. Oh, wow. To verse number 14.
Wow.
It's kind kind of lengthy, but it's a lesson in it. Because as you're aware, there's some people who, for some strange reason, just love dreadlocks. And I guess there's nothing wrong with dreadlocks. If we know the whole reason why, under the Mosaic law, that there were some people who did take the Nazarite vow. They did take it. There were some people who did take it, and it was for a period of separation, dedication to the Lord, and there were some stipulations for you if you were to take the Nazarite vow. And one of those stipulations is that you can allow your hair to grow. You mustn't cut it. And then we're going to look now in Numbers chapter 6 and see exactly what those requirements are.
Okay.
But we have to look at this traffic in this country. This traffic is something else. The government's going to have to look at school zones, busing, because it does seem as if every year more students enroll in school. More parents seem to be more comfortable picking up children from school rather than catching the bus. I don't know why. And as a result of that, around the school zones, there's heavy traffic for almost 45 minutes an hour. And so for me, to leave home at 3:20, and you see what time I arrive? I arrive here.
You know I wasn't going to tell them if you
4:60.
didn't tell them, right? If you didn't tell them, I was going to just play like you said all the time.
Okay, good. So in Numbers chapter 6, we can look at the Nazarite vow. And it says, during the entire period of their Nazarite vow, no razor may be used on their head. They must be holy until the period of their dedication to the Lord is over. So it doesn't seem as if this Nazarite vow is something that goes on forever. At some point, it does come to an end. And so they must be holy until the period of their dedication to the Lord is over, and they must let their hair grow long. Throughout the period of the dedication to the Lord, the Nazarite must not go near a dead body. All right, that's another stipulation. He must not go near a dead body. Go ahead, producer. Let's see what else is there. Even if their own father or mother or brother or sister dies, they must not make themselves ceremonially unclean on account of them, because of their symbol of their dedication to God is on their head. That's something to think about. So that means now if your brother or your mother or your sister die, you can't even go near them because you've taken this Nazarite vow. So throughout the period of their dedication, they are consecrated to the Lord. If someone dies suddenly in the Nazarite's presence, watch this, thus defiling the hair that symbolizes their dedication. And it does seem as if the long hair symbolizes dedication. They must shave their head on the seventh day, the day of their cleansing. So if you come into contact or somebody dies suddenly in the Nazarite's presence, seems as if you don't have to touch the body. If the person just died in your presence, you got to cut your hair off. Then on the 8th day, they must bring 2 doves or 2 young pigeons to the priest at the entrance of the tent meeting. And the priest is to offer one as a sin offering, another as a burnt offering to make atonement for the Nazarite because they sin. You see that? They sin by being in the presence of the dead body. That same day, they had to consecrate their head again. You know something, we could stop there actually. But if you want to understand the Nazarite vow, it is in Numbers chapter 6. It's a Jewish law actually. It's not for everybody. And of course this dreadlocks or long hair, it's not something that goes on forever. It does come to an end at some point. And of course, the long hair shows that it is a symbol of dedication to the Lord. Thank you so much, producer. The Nazarite vow is found in Numbers chapter 6 of the Old Testament.
But you know, they tell us a long time ago, spiritual advisor, that you don't have to dread to be a Rasta. You don't have to dread.
You don't have to wear locks, right?
It is not a dreadlocks thing.
Maybe they understood.
It is a confession of the heart.
Yeah, so maybe they understood this in Old Testament law.
So if that is the case, then that means Rastafari, who in prison,
he could have gotten his
he
hair
should
cut.
just have Rastafari in his heart.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with him cutting
Because
his
as
hair.
a man, think it in his heart.
Yeah.
So see.
And it is an Old Testament dedication. It's an Old Testament vow that people under the Jewish law, under the Mosaic law, if they wanted to follow this road, they were the rules that they would undertake. So it isn't something that we do today in the Christian era. You won't find this Nazarite vow in the New Testament because it's not a part of the New Covenant.
So how do the Rastas attend funerals?
They shouldn't.
But how do you bury a Rasta?
That's the next question. That's the
You
next
just
question.
leave the Rasta in the wilderness?
That's the next question.
What if the Rasta mummy dead? You say he shouldn't even go close to the mummy if she dead.
No, that's what the law says. It's right there. So if your mother, your brother, your sister, your father, anybody who dies in your presence, you can't even go near them. And if you do,
You have to
sin.
cut your locks off.
Yeah, you gotta shave your head.
Wow.
So, you know, it is what it is.
Rasta.
And this is one of the reasons why it's so important to have a read Bible, because when you have a read Bible, you get to see exactly what these things mean, what they're all about. And you just don't follow them willy-nilly or out of ignorance. So, you know, it is what it is. Indeed.
So, okay, so let me hear this, right? So, the Nazarenes were, who exactly all made up that team of the Nazarenes and people that would take the Nazarene vow? Were they people from a certain specific place? Or
No, they were just
were they
people.
from a specific generation? How exactly?
A nation. They were just Israelites. These were Israelites.
So they were Israelites.
Right.
But how come the Israelites keep coming up with more new things? Why didn't they just... Because you remember it was also the Israelites that wanted a king, eh?
They did.
Right. So why the Israelites can't just be happy with God? You remember the
that's
Israelites wanted a
interesting.
king, right? God tell the Israelites, y'all don't need no king. Y'all have me. The Israelites say, no, but you think we crazy and everybody else have a king.
Yeah.
We want a king too. But
And then-
anyhow, the Bible then records that after that, they ended up with a king whose name was Saul. And that Saul was such a horrible king. I think it is in 2 Samuel somewhere, 2 Samuel 15, that the Bible says, and God repented that he had made Saul king of Israel. Remember that?
The man said he felt sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed.
And so, I don't know. I feel like the Israelites keep putting themselves in harm's way. I feel like they keep reaching for other things and wanting for other things. That was just not the knowledge of God. See, just why Paul had to come and sort you all out, you know. Paul had to come and sort out the people because the people, they was going contrary before Saul.
As always.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel about it. So,
Yep.
you agree or
Numbers
disagree?
chapter 6, yeah.
You agree or disagree with Rastafari getting his haircut in jail?
I agree that he could get it cut. He needs to be educated. Obviously, Rastas don't probably understand the reason why they even wear the dreadlocks. All right?
It is their sacrifice to God.
Right, so the dreadlock, it's a dedication, it's a commitment, it's a service to God. And there are certain regulations that you must follow. But it isn't forever. At some point, you can bring it to an end.
Yeah.
You can decide, okay, so my dedication, this is a period, I'm going to do a year of dedication. As a result of that, I'm not going to grow my hair to show my dedication. And then once that time is up, the law is there. It says you're not to shave your head until... producer, you need to put that back up for me, please.
So maybe I was a Nazarene last year because you know I hadn't shaved my head for 15 months.
Numbers chapter 6, let's see it. Let's look at the first few verses, I think, because I think it's very clear. Right, it says, during the entire period of their Nazarite vow, no razor may be used on their head. They must be holy until the period of their dedication to the Lord is over.
Producer, you still have my Nazarene, they gave me, I got in the jail picture. So about last year, I hadn't cut my hair for 15 months. Maybe I too was a Nazarene. So you have to say something special or you just dedicate yourself and don't cut your hair.
Well,
There I
you
was,
just
15
decide,
months
yeah.
in. No razor had come nigh me.
Okay.
And I was fasting, and people didn't understand it when I told them I was on a fast. And they said, fasting for what? And I couldn't explain it to people. I'm a religious man. I feel like the Spirit tell me I should fast. I went on a fast. They asked me from what? I went on a fast from my barber because, as you know, I go to the barber every Wednesday at Island Connect. Isn't that correct?
Yeah.
And so this is what I look like after 15 months of not touching my head with a razor.
Wow.
Isn't it fantastic?
Yeah.
And I almost look like Rastafari there the more I think about it.
It didn't go that long though. That's 15 months.
No, my hair was longer than 1 inch.
You probably was in the twirling it or
No, I
tying
wasn't
it.
doing anything to it. The only thing I was doing to it was putting oil on it.
Just allowing it to grow.
Yeah, like the Rastafarian do, and
Yeah.
I grew the hair out.
And you would wash it and all that, right?
Naturally. If I wouldn't wash my hair, I'd have lice.
Yeah, okay.
And you can't have lice.
Well,
Yeah, so maybe I was a half a Nazarene. Is there such a thing? Can I be half a Nazarene?
it's an Old Testament practice. That's the best I can tell you.
But I also
you
didn't go
Old
to any
Testament, you can
funerals.
see it. You didn't go?
No, I didn't go to any
Because once you
funerals.
come there, once you come in the presence of a dead body, then that's automatic sin. All right?
Oh.
You break the law, and now you got to shave your head.
Well,
So it is what it is.
but did they mention going to jail in the Nazarene vow?
No.
If you go to jail, then you have given yourself over to the state.
But the key thing about that is you must recognize that that is in the Old Testament scriptures. It's in the Old Testament. It's not in the. We're now under the new covenant, this new law. So that law has been abolished. Actually, that Nazarite vow law has been obliterated at the cross of Christ, and we now follow our dedication, which is in truth and in spirit to God. It's not an outward thing. It's an inner working thing that is manifested in our thoughts and our actions and the way we live.
Fantastic. We have the Commander of the Defense Force joining
Indeed.
us on the next segment of the show.
The
Excited to
commander?
have him here. The Commander of the Defense Force is
That's
here.
Moxie?
Mr. Floyd Moxie.
Okay, great.
He's here, and I understand he's also going to be flanked by three of his captains. They've come. They promised that they would come. Do you remember we did his
I heard
first...
yesterday that you were talking about that.
We did his initial interview. I think it was the week that he took over. And he had promised us that once he got to the 100-day mark, he would come back. Well, of course, you know, the commander calendar is kind of tight. He wasn't able to get here on the exact 100-day mark. But today is day 120. And he's back.
Since he has been at the helm.
Since he's taken command, and we're going to talk to him a little bit about that. Do you have anything you want to know from the commander?
Yeah, I'll ask him if he could explain what happened with the incident on board that vessel.
In Inagua?
Yeah.
We're going to talk to him about that. We're talking to him about that. We're talking to him about all of the things that they want. Yep, see that? The Commander of the Defense Force is here. So we're going to talk to him about all of the things that have happened over the last 120 days. We're going to talk to him about the next 120 days and all the 120 days after that he gets to hold the command of the Royal Armed Defense Force. And I think it's going to be an interesting show. You looking forward to that?
Indeed, indeed.
Fantastic. That's the jingle?
Yeah.
All right, I hear the jingle. You know what that means. We go into the break. You don't move. When we get back on the next side of the break, I'm joined by Commander Defense Force, Floyd Moxie, LLB, and his captains. They're here to talk to us about the goings on of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force. It's 120 days since he first took the reins of power. We'll see where it was, where it is, and where he's headed. Don't move. We'll be right back after this. To Freedom March. Thank you so much for staying with us through the break. I'm Levan Miller. You're listening to us on channel 103.5, the Beat FM, channel 224, that's cable, channel 112, that's Flow, and of course on ILTV Studios, wherever you are listening though. Thank you so much for listening. I promised you it. I don't know how the amount of people beat me to the deal, but I promise you all, at the 100-day mark, we would have the Commander of the Defense Force back to talk about his vision, force direction, and his aspirations. It has been 120 days, if my mathematics is correct, and 120 days later, as I have promised, we have Commodore Floyd Moxey here with us on Freedom March. Commander, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. Miller.
So good to have you on Freedom March.
Good afternoon, shipmates.
It's been a long time. It doesn't feel like it was 23 years ago. Yeah, it's been a long time.
And good afternoon, Bahamas.
Yes, and of course he's joined by his Deputy Commander of the Defense Force, Natasha Miller, who herself is making waves and, I mean, just having a wonderful time with what could possibly be dubbed one of the greatest historical accomplishments for women in the forces history to date. Yeah, so congratulations. Let me say that to you publicly here on Freedom March. But Commander, tell us, it's been 120 days. I know that I think it was 10 we spoke, and of course, you know, you wanted some time to get in and to kind of get your foot planted and to have an opportunity to meet with your executives and to meet with, you know, your managers, your managerial level staff, etc. But it's 120 days later now. You have had an opportunity to see what is, to know what the capacity, operational capacity, range, etc. is. How has getting into the chair over these 120 days been for you?
Well, it's been great, Mr. Miller. So we had some success, and we see some challenges that are ahead of us.
Sure.
But you know, we are pressing on with focus, determination, a clear vision for where we must go.
Okay.
And we have a resilient team.
Okay.
We have a vibrant team.
Sure. So let's start at the accomplishments. I always like to talk about because you know bad things just make the news all the time. And I tell people all the time. Sometimes when you say I don't hear anything from the force, strangely that means they're getting everything right. Because people don't report it when we get it right. It's only when we get it wrong it's reported. So tell us, Commander, the things that have gone right, that we've been getting right, that operationally have been successful over this last 120.
Okay, so within the last 120 days, what we have done? What I've done was try to realign the force so that our people, our assets, and our operation, that they all move with one purpose.
Okay.
All right? And so I've restructured responsibility to match the strength. I've adjusted vessel deployments to basically protect both our craft and our crew. And we have shifted to a more intelligent-driven patrols.
Okay.
Okay, so what I mean when I say that we have restructured responsibility to kind of match the strength.
Sure.
So we want to ensure that the persons with the responsibility, that they had the ranks to match that.
Okay.
All right? So we appointed a captain to be the commanding officer of operations.
Okay.
He have an operational background. He spent basically his whole career at sea. So it is only fair, it is only fitting that he would be the best person to fit that job.
It's Captain Brown.
And that is Captain Brown.
I only know this because I have the knowledge.
And that is Captain Brown,
right?
all right? The commanding officer of operation.
Okay.
And so human resources, we appointed Captain McPhee.
Okay.
And I think you know him.
Yeah.
You have a wealth of knowledge.
Yes.
Spent a lot of years in college.
Yes.
A lot of years in school.
Very
all right?
decorated CV. Yes.
Very decorated CV, right?
Yeah.
So we wanted to align the right persons with the right job.
Okay.
And we appointed Captain Sonia Miller as the captain of Coral Harbor Base.
Captain of Coral Harbor.
All right.
Now, tell people, because I know, but tell people how is that important to have a Sonia Miller, someone that has spent a lot of her time dealing with disaster prepared readiness, dealing with just disaster recovery, having an opportunity to work both inside the organization and outside of the organization. So her Rolodex should be expansive. She's able to touch things in places that ordinarily some people wouldn't be able to touch. When you, as the commander, in the mind of the commander, when you think about an appointment like Sonia Miller as captain of Coral Harbor, again, another historic appointment, what goes through the mind of the commander?
Networking. She has the ability to network inside the job and outside.
Sure.
She has vast knowledge. She worked with NEMA in disaster management and disaster recovery. And so disaster is one of our mandates.
Right.
And so we need someone that has that strength.
Right.
And she is that person. And she also has great management skills as well, all right? So at this time, she's the best person to fit that role as the captain of Coral Harbor.
Okay, so tell us a little bit more about your successes, sir.
Okay, and so what I've done in the first 120 days, I've made a change to the ship deployment.
Okay.
I've changed the deployment period to ensure that the length of time that the ship remain at sea, that they are consistent with the manufacturer's instruction.
Okay.
All right? For example, the 60-meter patrol craft have an endurance of 30 days at sea. We have been sailing them for 90 days.
Okay.
Would put a lot of stress on the ship, would put a lot of stress on the crew. So we have reduced those time back to the manufacturer's specification.
Okay.
So that we can increase the longevity of the ship,
Okay.
so that we can decrease the wear and tear on our machinery, on the ships. And on the 45 meters, the manufacturers are saying to us that the 42 meters have an endurance of, say, 21 days at sea. So we are now complying with that strictly to the rule.
Right.
The 32 meters, the 30 meters have an endurance of 15 days at sea. And that increases the welfare of the crew.
Sure.
It assists their family, the well-being of their families. And what it does is ensure that we do not have these expensive breakdown maintenance, which will prevent us from fulfilling and accomplishing our mandate.
Okay.
So that is what I did. That is what the team did within the first 120 days. And that is proven successful.
So sir, I note that we spoke about the appointment of Deputy Commander Miller. Luckily, you have two Millers. I mean, you can't really go wrong appointing a Miller. I just want to put that plug in there. And now we have Captain Sonia Miller, who is your captain of Coral Harbor. There is again a recent call nationally and globally for greater inclusion of women, right? Your appointment has possibly seen some of the most substantive historic appointments of women in billets that ordinarily we've never seen. As a matter of fact, when you think about the captain of Coral Harbor, you think about a 6-foot man most times, right? which is all it's ever been. But how does the call for women inclusion, how does the international appetite for woman inclusion play into your mind with regards to talent pool, recruitment, billet assignment, etc.? Exactly how does the commander consider these things?
Okay, what I would say though is that the appointment of DCDF Miller, Deputy Commander of Defense Force Miller, the appointment of Captain Coral Harbor, Sonia Miller, and that is a testament to our inclusivity. It's a testament to our progress in the Royal Bahamas Defense Force. So presently, we have 20% of our complement on the Defense Force are female.
Sure.
And I think our gender optimization policy is saying that it should be around 33.
25%.
25%?
25.
Yeah.
There are some places like the parliaments are calling for 33.
Yeah. Some
Right.
people are very ambitious,
Right,
eh?
right.
And so they say they want 33.
33 is plenty.
And we're around 20%.
Yeah.
And
So do you believe possibly in order to meet the gender requirements internationally and otherwise that we may at some point see like more female induction into the force? And could the possibility of an all-female entry be something that we see anytime in the near future?
all female, well, you know, the first two entry
Right.
of the Defense Force,
Right. They were
those
all
two
female.
entry were all female,
Yeah.
all right?
Yeah. Some of them are actually still in service, eh?
Yeah, they're still in service.
Mm-hmm.
To my mind, our female have to work along with their male counterparts.
Mm-hmm.
So it is only fitting, it is only common sense that they train
That you
together,
train them together.
that they
Yeah,
train them
yeah,
together.
yeah.
And we've been doing a great job at that.
Yeah, I
all
believe
right?
so.
All of the entries since your entry,
Most
Deputy Miller.
definitely,
Yeah.
Yes.
You were in a mixed entry.
I was in the mixed entry.
Okay.
Entry.
Yeah, that
Okay.
didn't turn out bad.
Not at all.
And-
Not at all, yeah.
Yeah,
And
very
that's been
successful.
working for us.
Yeah, it works.
All right, we have
Okay.
to sail together,
Yeah.
we on ship,
We deploy together.
we deploy together, and we live in close quarters,
Yeah.
closed spaces.
Yeah.
So we have to learn to exist together.
Mhm.
And training environment will teach us that, eh?
Okay. All right. So, Commander, if we can transition, I want to talk a little bit about Haiti, the mission, the strategy. Are we gaining ground? Are we maintaining? How exactly or what exactly is being reported out of that space from that operational theater?
Okay, so in Haiti, the Royal Bahamas Defense Force is in Haiti along with its CARICOM and its international partner to support the Haitian National Police to help bring stability to Haiti. Okay, so we sent the first contingent into Haiti October of 2024.
Sure.
And that was 6 officers and Marine, and they were deployed in non-combat role. All right?
Just mentioned for
So
seniors,
non-combat is like auxiliary roles, support roles.
Well, no, not auxiliary role. We're going to get to that.
Okay.
And we also deployed the first female in that
Right.
deployment, right?
Right.
Lieutenant Commander.
Which was another
Walton
historic
Right.
woman deployment.
Which was a woman deployment.
Right.
Okay, so the role that those persons fulfilled in Haiti were roles such as human resource, discipline and conduct, maritime advisor, and also logistics.
Okay.
Okay? And so that went well. In fact, the Force Chief Petty Officer, the Warrant Officer,
Yeah. Mr. Goldberg.
Mr. Goldberg, I think you must know him.
Indeed.
That was his second tour of duty in Haiti, because he went there also, I think, in 1995.
Right.
And he was appointed as the regimental sergeant major
Right.
in Haiti, and he did a commendable job. He came back with letters of commendation.
Right.
And in Haiti, presently, we have 3 officers,
Okay.
and they are serving in at the headquarters level. One of them are serving in the role as human resource. We have an officer serving as
discipline and conduct.
discipline and conduct, and one as the maritime advisor
Okay.
in Haiti, right?
Okay.
And so the region is interrelated. And what we intend to do next, and we have been given approval to do, was to train members of the Haitian Coast Guard
Okay.
in the operation of their small boats. And we will be doing that here in New Providence.
Okay.
And that will start in November. So
Okay.
we'll bring them to New Providence.
Okay.
We will train them how to operate. They have 4 offshore, not offshore, they're basically safe boats,
Okay.
like the ones that we acquired. And we will bring them to New Providence, give them training in engineering, give them training in boarding operation, give them training in arrest procedures. and they will live at our Coral Harbor base.
Okay.
And they will be trained at the Harbor Patrol Unit. And they will go back to Haiti, and hopefully they will assist with preventing their people from leaving Haiti, which will reduce the load on us.
Indeed.
Eventually. Eh?
So if you had to, Commander, gauge it, do you think our gains in Haiti to this point, have there been marginal gains? Have we had like major ground gain in Haiti? And how much, because that's new information to me, how much does that play into whether or not you consider Operation Haiti a success? The ability to have the Haitian Coast Guard come in to train them up and then to hand over the policing of that area to them. Would you consider that the point of success for Operation Haiti?
Yeah, that is a major success. And we have a maritime advisor in Haiti. The Haitian Coast Guard do not have the type of assets that we have here in the Bahamas. But our maritime advisor, they assisting them with deploying whatever they have, small assets, and the most efficient, the most proficient way to do it. And to us, that is a success. All
Should
right?
we expect to see more deployments after this one, and will any of them be female?
I always say the Defense Force move at the whim of the government.
Sure.
Once the government makes a policy decision, then the Defense Force will respond to that.
Okay.
And but we are constantly training. I am making sure that my people are getting the training that they need to deploy.
Okay.
All right?
Yes, sir.
That they are in the mental state, the physical state, so that if they are called on to deploy, they will be in a position to effectively deploy.
All right. Well, if you're just joining us, we are talking to Commander of the Defense Force, Floyd Moxie is his name. He joins me in studio with the Deputy Commander of the Defense Force, Captain Miller. And we're here talking about all of the things Defense Force. It's 120 days. The Commander has come to the helm. And we're finding out what has been going on in the mind of the Commander. Of course, we spoke to him very early on after taking command of the force, and he promised that he would come back at the 100-day mark. And so, as he has promised, he's here with us now after having a full opportunity to assess the situation, to see exactly where the force was. He's now plotted a course, and we're going in a direction that that is in line with the commander's intention. And so we've come to talk about it. And so we're talking his successes over the last 120 days. We're now talking about Haiti. You wanted to say something, Commander?
Yeah, and I just want to say, training foreign military is nothing new to us.
Right.
Okay? Because we have also trained persons from the Guyana Defense Force.
Yes.
And we have trained persons from the Royal Turks and Caicos Coast Guard as well.
Yeah, and cross-training has always been a part of the operation. I mean, the Americans train us. We train alongside the Americans. We train with the TCI. Sometimes the Jamaicans come up and we train along with them. As a matter of fact, right now I see you have 2 of your commandos in Jamaica.
That's right.
And so it's a regional thing.
It's a regional thing,
Right.
and we are interrelated, you know?
Indeed. Indeed. And so, Commander, I must now ask, I know that there were, in the early days, some ironing out of logistical issues, etc. Natural consequences of deployment. People move, logistics have to follow them. Sometimes you don't get everything ironed out right away. Sometimes some people have lulls, payment issues, etc., etc. Have we been able to iron out all of the logistic challenges with Haiti?
Yes, definitely. All of those logistical issues have been ironed out. And they iron out to the point that persons receive all of the benefits that are due to them prior to leaving for Haiti.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So that is a non-issue.
All right.
At this time.
And the situation on the ground, I know the general public had a safety concern about where would our people be, how close to the... You've already said it's a non-combat role, but we've also been able to maintain logistically the safety of our deployed persons during their time in Haiti as well.
Yeah, they are safe. Their well-being are paramount to us. I am in contact with them on a basically every other day basis, and they are in a good frame of mind.
Sure.
And they're doing a job. They're making the country proud. And they're proud of what they're doing.
Well, they're earning medals. It's always fun to do that, eh? Now, I know that the government, like you said earlier, is responsible for the direction, or not necessarily the direction, but the overall goals that the organization will have. Have you even began, though, considered how much longer Haiti will be? What exactly will it take before we can begin an exit strategy? What does a dial back, dial down, exit out of Haiti look like? Have you even began to look in that direction yet?
Okay, so what I do know is the United Nations resolution that took us to Haiti, that expires in October.
Okay.
Okay? So we'll wait and see what happens.
Okay.
When they go back to the United Nations.
Okay. But I imagine that you and your commanders, your captains, you all are sitting at the table with an option A, with an option B.
We have, and the option is to be ready in case we have to deploy into Haiti.
Okay.
And we're training. We're doing the human rights training. We're doing the physical training. We're doing the mental training.
Sure.
And we're preparing.
Okay. Let's jump to Rangers. Rangers is the I like it. It's one of the fun things of the organization because it actually is. I always tell people the Royal Bahamas Defense Force is a blunt object. There is no finesse. They show up, they move things, and then they leave. That's what they do. The Ranger program, though, is the human touch of the organization, so to speak, where you have people trained for combat, taking that very combat mindset and putting it where children are in a way that helps them to become better socially conditioned. That's the best analogy I could find for it, right? How is that program building out, and what are the successes you're having now?
Okay, so the Rangers, as you intimated, that has been the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, one of its proudest legacies since it was launched back in 1995. And for over 30 years, it has shaped young people in leadership, in discipline, and personal development. And so that program has produced leaders for the Defense Force. It has produced leaders for the police force, and it has produced leaders for the civil society. In fact, the base engineering officer now, he is a graduate of one of the better maritime school in the U.S. He is a former Ranger. He came up to the Ranger, and that's Lieutenant Commander Rigby. He's also my senior aide.
Yes.
And there are many persons in the Defense Force who came up through the Rangers and now in leadership position in the Royal Bahamas Defense Force. So the Ranger program is an effective program that definitely produces leaders for this country, leaders for the Royal Bahamas Defense Force. And it is something that we are proud of. It's a long-standing program.
Now, with all success stories, there are needs to adjust, operational adjustments that must be made. I know everybody that lives here knows that it has had its challenges recently. How has the command pivoted in its strategy? Have there been any organizational disciplinary actions? We know that there are some things happening in the civilian world with regards to discipline, but when you see the things that have happened, as commander, how do you adjust the strategy, especially for something that has had such success over the last 30 years?
Okay, so like you said, recently we had those allegations of impropriety, and I don't want to speak to those because that is a matter that is before the court, and I don't want to prejudice that. But what I would say though is that that gave us an opportunity to review our administrative process of the program and to review our protocols. And so we did that. The allegations came up. I did not have the luxury to sit and do nothing, nor do I want that luxury. All right?
Right.
So I convene a board of inquiry
Right.
to look into the administrative process of the program and to look at the protocols.
Sure.
The board of inquiry reported back. I am going through the perusal of that document. I've shared it with the Ministry of National Security, and I've made some initial command change, and we're working on making some protocol change.
Okay.
And they're not band-aid change. They are change that will secure this program and ensure that this program survive.
Sure. Sure. And so
Okay.
you feel confident about the future growth of the Ranger program as a sub-compartment or sub-department of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force going forward?
Definitely. And one of the changes that we made was we moved the Rangers program under the umbrella of the Bahamas Military and Maritime Academy because that institution is robust. It has a robust leadership. It has a long-standing leadership. And that will ensure that the integrity of the Rangers survive. Eh?
All right, you hear the jingle. That means we're going to the break. I got the Commodore with me. I tell you what, he hear the whole show. Don't move. We've got more show with Commodore Floyd Moxie and his captains on the next side. Hello, welcome back to Freedom March. Thank you so much for staying with us through the break. I'm Leland Miller. You know my name already. But I'm here with people that get the heavy lifting done. Commodore Floyd Moxie and Captain Natasha Miller, Deputy Commander of the Defense Force, are here with me. They're my guests on Freedom March today. We're talking about the first 120 days. But we've spoken to the commander, and we have the Deputy Commander here with us, right? And of course, you've been here the whole time. You've heard us talk about the inclusion of women. And, you know, I often say that it is interesting how I recently did a degree in sociology, right? And so sometimes when you talk about the test subject, right, you talk about it as if it is an object. When the test subject is a woman, that's not an object. And you have to consider, how do these things translate in the eyes of a woman, right? The first female Deputy Commander of the Defense Force, first of all, you have about 30 years in service, right?
32 years.
32 years. 32 years ago, did you even imagine it would be possible?
32 years ago. Good afternoon, Bahamas. I joined the Royal Bahamas Defense Force. I joined the Bahamas Defense Force only because I wanted a job. I had never planned to remain in the Defense Force for this period of time. But through perseverance, dedication, and commitment, I stuck it out. And I've been an officer in the Defense Force for some 32 years.
Okay.
I have earned the respect of the Marines and officers. My transition to the post of the Deputy Commander Defense Force has been very seamless. Why? Because persons know who I am.
Sure.
They know my leadership style. They know that I am a fair but firm individual.
Sure.
I reward excellence and deal with misconduct.
And everybody
Okay?
else getting
Everybody knows that. You know,
I like a little bit of licking up.
if you look at me,
Yeah.
I'm more of a serious person. So persons believe that I am unapproachable, but my doors are always open for whenever anybody needs to come and see
Sure.
me. So my transition has been seamless. I have the support of everyone in the Royal Bahamas Defense Force. They see me as a disciplinarian and a visionary leader. So I intend to continue with that commitment and ensure that the Defense Force remains the best small military in the world.
So I heard the commander said earlier, you know, the adjustment of the patrol strategy to put the assets more in line with their manufacturers' operational capacity. But he also talked about something that I thought was interesting, which was how that augurs on the welfare of families in the organization. And even that language for me is unusual. 23 years ago, when I entered the gates, it was operations, because that is what we are about. And everybody understands one thing. You come in, I always say that it is the organization that breaks men because it doesn't wear. So you come in as a boy, you leave as an old man, you may have a bad back, a bad hand, the organization will remain though. As we go towards greater expansion and inclusion, though, having the opportunity to sit in what I would call the leadership stratosphere, having an opportunity to see the landscape, what do you think your most fundamental role is in an organization that is so densely populated by men at that level that you sit now, to help the men at that level consider the things that men just ordinarily wouldn't consider?
I think I bring a level playing field to the organization. Like you said, men, the organization was run predominantly by men. You now have a woman, women sitting around the table. So we bring a different perspective. We show them things that they never even thought about.
Yeah, because we just don't they
never thought about.
Right.
So we're now balancing the playing field where both men and women get a fair shake.
Sure.
Okay? So, like you talk about welfare, we ensure that our women are well taken care of. Sometimes the men don't think about the things that women go through.
Sure.
Women have kids, and when we have to leave our kids to go to sea, go on deployment, it's a different strain than when a man has to. So our welfare and morale department is there to assist families when these things occur.
I'm glad you talked about welfare. I have to admit, I have a bias. Y'all have a rock star chaplain, and I like him, right? Plus, he grows a fancy bed, right? You can't go wrong with a bed in that
Chaplain Wells.
Yeah, but Apostle Wells is down there as the chaplain. How when you consider that asset at your level and what that does for morale and welfare, social conditioning, to have that asset that isn't necessarily ships and guns, the human capital that is. When you consider what your role is, or how your role and seniority plays into polishing and keeping in ship shape the human asset of the organization, when you partner that with the morale and welfare office and of course the chaplaincy office, are you able to create good synergy in there in order to make sure that all those things work together?
Most definitely. Like you said, our chaplain, Dr. Raymond Wells, he's always on the ground. He has visited every outpost, every craft in the Royal Bahamas Defense Force. He has a beautiful relationship with the men and women. In any organization that you would have worked in, do you open the morning with a prayer? That is something that we do every morning, and we look forward to it. Okay, so him along with the welfare department, they work hand in hand, and they've made the lives of the Marine and the officers in the Royal Bahamas Defense Force a more pleasant one. I think people look forward to coming to work. They're happier because they know when they have issues, anything that is going on in their lives and they need assistance, we have the morale and welfare and the chaplain office, and they are always available to render assistance.
If you could have a short list of goals for however long your tenure will be, you look at operational capacity, you look at operational ability, you look at manpower strategy, of course guided always by the intention of the commander. Are there things that you look at, like Haiti, like Rangers, and you kind of have it as a, I know we are getting this thing right. Like if you could pick any one thing, you look at it and you say, no, we are absolutely getting this thing here right. What would that be?
We are getting that discipline aspect of the job right.
Okay.
From the day we entered office, was our main priority, and we have seen a change. Okay, and we're also looking at the grooming of our Marines. We are looking at changing out our number 3s, as you would know, our blue uniforms, because we're having some issues procuring them. So we're looking at providing them with better quality uniform, a camouflage uniform with the crest embedded in it. So, when you look good, you feel good.
Indeed.
So, you perform better, eh?
Yeah.
Like you say, perform better. So we are doing everything in our power to make the force a better place. And that discipline aspect is key.
Yeah.
In any military, you need a disciplined force.
Yeah. How does making history feel, though? I mean, I'll give you a quote from Dame Marguerite Penman. I asked her a time ago in an interview, I said, how does it feel to be Marguerite Penman, right? And she says, I didn't know I was Margaret Penman. As far as I know, no, as far as I know, I was just doing the things I thought was right. The people kept saying all these things about me. I was just doing the thing I thought was right. But to make history is always something that is worthy of pausing and noting, right? Like, how does it feel to actually be a history maker?
Well, for me, like Marguerite Penman says, I take it as a job.
Yeah.
It's just another promotion. I continue to perform with excellence. So making history,
yeah, you just
it hasn't hit me as yet. I am Natasha.
I didn't know this was history.
Really?
No, absolutely, definitely.
It hasn't changed me. I've always been Natasha Miller, and I will continue to do what I did, but I'm just doing it at another level.
That's interesting. So we want to shift gears, Commander. I want to go to a couple of questions with regards to the operations and training. We cannot duck the things that we see in the news. We know, producer, that the ships that we have at sea, we've heard in the news that they have had challenges. We heard about the crash in Inagua. Some people say that we've heard it reported that there may have been mechanical issues, but there will be mechanical issues forever and ever and ever. But there's nothing you can do about that. What do we do with regards to training, with regards to maintenance schedule, maintenance training, ensuring that there is bridge training? Because here is what I say to the detractors, right? Y'all got to put me on the budget for PR.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why, right? Because when the people tell me they breaking up the boat again, right? I said, have you ever driven around Nassau? Y'all gotta stop these parcels from hitting one another, right? But what I also try to get people to understand is, even in the instances where there are accidents, accidents at sea can be far more catastrophic if your bridge team doesn't know what is the immediate action.
Okay.
And that is with all military operations. Unless you know what is the immediate action, like, okay, we've hit, now what? And I think there was no loss of life, there was no major injury reported. Someone in a wheelhouse somewhere did something right. And so that speaks to the training that we already have. What are we doing as we transition throughout the rest of your tenure about training seamen, seafarers, training those people that have responsibility for maintenance, training those people who have any one of these theater operation capacities and billets?
Okay, that's a loaded question.
Yeah.
But first of all, let me speak to that unfortunate incident in Town, Inagua, right? And so our preliminary investigation is that it had nothing to do with poor seamanship. It had nothing to do with poor navigation. Okay? So what happened is that vessel had this problem occurred some years ago. The manufacturers of the vessel, the shipbuilders, had a look at it, and they deemed that it was repaired. On 2 occasions this year, the problem reoccurred.
Okay.
And it only occurs when the vessel is operating in restricted space. When it is coming alongside, or when it's maneuvering at clutch speed. All right? And you know what is clutch speed. They're not moving fast.
Right.
Okay, so the ship has what is called a controllable pitch propeller.
Right.
And it is a concept. It is a concept, engineering concept that is not like the traditional propellers that we have. And so when we realized earlier this year,
That
around June or July, that this problem had reoccurred. And so what we did, the vessel was at a point where it needed to be dry dock for its 10-year dry docking, all right? And so we sent the vessel to a shipyard on the eastern seaboard of the United States.
Right.
And the ship manufacturers, they send their expert to look into this reoccurring problem. The expert came from Rolls-Royce, because it is a Rolls-Royce system.
It's fancy.
Yes, and a very sophisticated system. And they worked on the problem. As far as we were concerned, they signed off that the problem was corrected. Okay, and so we sailed the vessel back home in July.
Okay.
The vessel went on patrol, no problem. Went into some restricted harbors, no problem. But the problem reoccurred on Saturday past when the vessel was coming alongside in Town, Inagua. And the bridge team, did everything according to protocol.
Sure.
You know all the protocol for entering and leaving harbor.
Yes, sir.
And due to the skill of the commanding officer and the bridge team, they were able to basically save the ship.
Yeah, mitigate damage.
Mitigate damage. There was no injury to the crew.
Right.
Thank God for that.
Yes.
And you know, that basically shows us the risk that our men and women endure every day on these patrol craft. Not only the risk from transnational criminal, but sometimes the very platform that they perform their duty on become a risk. All right?
Indeed.
And so we contacted the shipbuilders, and they are on their way to New Providence. They will do an assessment of what went wrong, and I hope that we can get this problem solved at least once and for all.
So we can,
because we need that craft in the fight.
So we can allay all of the concerns of the people in civil world that it wasn't just having one big gallivanting party.
No.
There wasn't any untoward anything going on.
And the commanding officer of this ship is well experienced.
Okay.
In fact, he's the commanding officer of our flagship.
Okay.
He just happened to be commanding that ship at the time.
Okay.
All right? So he has a wealth of knowledge. He has a wealth of experience.
Okay. So we also want to talk, again, down the road of training, etc. With the growth of the force, and if you're just joining me, I'm talking to Commodore Floyd Moxie, who is now joined by Captain Glenn McPhee, who is the captain of
Command Staff Officer.
Command Staff. I like the way the titles keep getting so fancy. When I joined the job, there was a chief staff, there was CDF, chief staff, Captain Carl Harbor, Boxo. That was it. Yeah, but the organization continues to grow, right? So Command Staff Officer is in charge of basically human resource.
That's correct.
Human resource, and so training and that sort of stuff largely comes under your purview with regards to what it is that people will need, how people will go about getting the necessary training to be able to perform in instances like Saturday Pass. But as you build out new bases, new operational platform, how are we staying ahead of the curve with regards to training and making sure that our Marines stay on the cutting edge?
Well, good afternoon, Mr. Miller, and good afternoon, Bahamas. Training and development opportunities are fundamental for the Royal Bahamas Defense Force. As a matter of fact, they are the bedrock for our operational readiness, our operational effectiveness, and our mission successes. Since coming to office, the Command of Defense Force convened a study lead board in July of this year. And we had a number of very enthusiastic, intelligent, capable, and deserving officers and Marines that were interviewed for in-service awards. However, due to budgetary constraints, the needs of the force, only 5 of those were awarded in-service awards. Specifically, the areas that are our main focus right now: aviation, law, computer service, information service, and humanities. And so those are the ones that were awarded this cycle. So all of those have an opportunity next cycle or the next budget cycle to seek those. But training is continuous, ongoing. It begins at the recruit level and extends throughout the career.
I know that you said law, and that pushes my mind in this area, because I know there was a time that we had talked about, you know, the prison and the court marshalling system, etc., etc.
Yes.
With the training of more lawyers, is it possible that we may soon see a court marshalling system become real?
Yes.
And that is something that I definitely want to see during my tenure. And Captain Sean Adley, he is the Staff Officer Legal Affairs. That is a position that I hold a year or so ago. And he is working assiduously to get this court-martial system
Boy, if y'all keep
implemented.
this up one by one, y'all might be going to jail. But what exactly, for those people that are not in service, what exactly does that mean, Commander or Captain McPhee, for the organization when the organization has the ability? For instance, there's the issue that just took place where civilian charges had to be brought. Are we looking at trying to internalize our armadas more to prevent that, or are we? What exactly? And maybe, Commander, this is one for you. In the mind of the commander, what exactly do you hope the court-martialing system will do for the organization?
Well, what the court-martial system will do is ensure that everyone, officers and Marine, are accountable and they're held to the same standards.
Okay.
All right? So as it stands now, according to the Defense Act, an officer above the rank of senior lieutenant, he can opt for a court-martial.
Okay.
And if he opts for a court-martial and you don't have a court-martial,
Yeah.
then how do you hold him accountable?
Okay.
So this court-martial will be fair,
Yeah.
and it will hold everybody accountable. Everybody will become accountable under this court-martial system. And according to the Defense Act, the only matters that we will not be able to adjudicate on will be murders, with the exception that if the murder occur on one of our ship, then we have jurisdiction, and sexual offenses.
Okay.
All right, so we bar from hearing those matters.
Okay.
And so we feel that we can hold our people more accountable if we deal with them in our system of justice.
All right. So, Captain McPhee, like the commander alluded to earlier, one of the things in his contemplations when billeting you as the executive staff officer was the fact that you have such a decorated CV. I've seen it. It's fantastic. I don't even know when people get time to do all this stuff, right? But
you don't sleep.
I imagine not. But you've done it all. That means you understand the importance of civilian credentialing. Because what we find is a lot of time in the organization, you have people that are phenomenal soldiers. They are tremendous Marines. They are lift and shift, high speed, low drag. But they turn into civilians. And then all of that amazingness kind of goes right out of the door because no one credentialed them to do many of the same functions that they could go into the civilian life and function at optimum levels with accomplishing. Are you leaning, looking, trying to expand civilian credentialing? Let's just say, for instance, I did a course called the Naval Inflatable Life-Saving Equipment course. The civilian parallel is the STCW. We have any number of our small boat captains that are every day executing the Class B boat handlers course. But again, it's because they all operate under the commander's authority.
Yes.
How are we ensuring, or what exactly is the intention with regards to training to ensuring that when people leave, whether it's at the 10-year mark, the 25-year mark, or the 40-year mark, that they're credentialed enough to be effective post-service life?
Well, we had the transition of our training department to the Bahamas Military and Maritime Academy.
Okay.
That we had some external consultants come in and they advised us on how to revamp that entire program to ensure that it meets international standards. And so now we're in the process of preparing for registering with NACORP with the expectation of attaining accreditation.
Okay.
With that, there are a number of courses that are equivalent to the civilian world, the bachelor's degree, the master's degree. And so we're moving along that trend to prepare our officers and Marines for life after a career service.
Sure.
Because that's our reality.
Sure. So how do you get synergy then? How do you when I was in service, one of the reasons I never went to school is this is also the reason I never became like a parent, because being a soldier takes time.
Yes.
It takes a lot of time. I had to think that we're going to have a break. But when we come back from the break, I want to talk to you a little bit about synergy. How do you create a training environment that still allows a soldier to be a soldier, but helps him to understand that along this journey, 25, 40 years, you have to get ready for the outside world. Y'all had a jingle. Don't move. We're on Freedom March. I'm on 103.5 the Beat FM. I got more bars in here than Fox Hill Prison. We'll be right back on the next side of the break. Hello, welcome back to Freedom March. Thank you so much for staying with us through the break. I'm Levan Miller. You're listening to us on channel 103.5, the Beat FM. Channel 224, that's on cable. Channel 112, that's over on Flow. And of course, ILTV Studios, there on Facebook. Wherever you're listening, though, thank you so much for listening. I've got really important people with me today. The Commander of the Defense Force, Floyd Moxie, joins me, as well as his captains, right? Which is also a very unusual thing. Usually, there was a time in my mind where the Commander of the Defense Force descended. He just came out of nowhere. You didn't know where he came from. He pulled up in a car, and you would always just see him whisk away. These days, the commander moves around and he's flanked by his captains. It's a pretty good look. I like it. All right, let's get to these ads. Hello, Bahamas. Ready to turn your event into a party? Royal Inflatables has you covered. From brand new bouncers to water slides and combo castles, fun is guaranteed for all ages. Their equipment is cleaned and inspected daily. Safe, spotless, and ready to go. Enjoy free setup, take down on-time delivery, and 100% hassle-free service. Perfect for birthdays, school events, or any celebration. Call or WhatsApp now at 242-468-7268 to book. Let the bounce party begin. The Work Center, located Rosetta Street across from Roberts Furniture, is your one-stop shop for back to school. Dickies, Timberlands, and many, many more. Come on down and let their friendly staff assist you with getting ready for back to school. All right, that's where that ends there. I need a small break. Cam, can we do the birthdays? Let's do the birthdays quickly, and then I'll get back to the Commander of the Defense Force. Who do we have celebrating? And I have to do this because I live my life in fear of these birthday people. If I do not do the birthday shout-outs, they might very well report me to IRCA, and so I must get this out of the way. Kristen and Crystal, I want to wish those two lovely ladies a super happy birthday from their dad, their siblings, and their nieces and nephews with tons of love, Kristen and Christelle. Rima McKinney. Happy birthday to Rima McKinney, all the way in Deep Creek, Eleuthera, from your kids, family, friends, and especially your bestie, Tracy and Jamie. We love you loads. And then, of course, there is a memorial announcement for the late Dr. Help me. There he is, Dr. Winston Churchill Rule, who will have a funeral interment there's a memorial service at the Elks Memorial Service, the 3rd of September 2025 at 7 p.m. at the Epiphany Methodist Church, which is number 3 Pride Estates. And then there is on the 4th of September 2025, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. a JCNP Tribute and Memorial Rush Out, Roston Square, Bay Street. And then on the 6th of September, the funeral service will be held at the Salem Union Baptist Church over on Taylor Street. And the repass is at Fowler Street Community Park. The family is asking you all to wear vibrant colors to commemorate the life and the legacy of Dr. Winston Churchill Rule. All right, and so we're back to Commanders of the Defense Force. I have with me Captain Glenn McVie, who is give me that title again?
Command Staff Officer.
Command Staff Officer. It's fancy every time I hear it. And then, of course, Commodore and Commander of the Defense Force, Floyd Moxie, is with me in studio here on Freedom March. Gentlemen, again, thank you so much for being here with us on Freedom March.
Thank you.
Training, we go straight back to that.
As we begin to say, with training, we have to strike that balance. First and foremost is our mission and our mandate. That's paramount.
Sure.
That's why we exist.
That's the operations.
That's why we exist.
Okay.
However, alongside that, there's continuous training. So we have to balance that and prepare as we prepare our officers and Marines. So, for example, we'd say through our modern training, promotion and advancements that are merit-based, we look to a pathway to civilian certification, and then we're preparing our officers and Marines both for in uniform and beyond after their careers, as we sustaining a force that meets international standards serving the Bahamian people.
Sure. So I note that for a long time we had jockeyed the idea of the possibility of training our own officers.
Yes.
As the practice now goes, I think we still do Britannia Royal Naval.
Yes.
And
U.S.
we
Coast
do
Guard.
the OIC, I think it is.
Yes.
Coast Guard Academy.
Coast Guard Academy.
And Jamaica.
And now there's which is exactly where I want to go, because I see the Jamaicans have gotten the leg on us, and I don't like being outran by Jamaicans or Bajans, or I really like to lead the way in the region. So where are we with regards to our training? Because I think we do have the capacity. We certainly have the resources. We have the talent pool to train at almost every level our own officers. I see Jamaica is also training commandos.
Yes.
We can possibly look into that, albeit I get it, it's difficult to train commandos here because we don't have hills. And many of our Caribbean partners are not as amphibious as the Bahamas is, so I get it. We have specialty training. But, I mean, is the possibility of regional academy training something that the command is looking at? And can we expect, or can people in service expect, that they will no longer need to leave home and family in order to become a sub-lieutenant or become a commando, or because the training capacity will be right here in?
Well, Mr. Miller, I'm pleased to say that last year, for the very first time, we trained 3 reserve commissioned officers under the Bahamas Military and Maritime Academy.
Really?
That's correct.
Okay.
2 doctors and a senior lawyer.
Okay.
As reserved commissioned officers.
Okay.
So we're on that path, and that was a pilot for us, and so now we can continue to move on.
Okay. So when we look at that module, about how much time do you think is necessary before we start to see our inclusion, like the commander has said earlier, of the TCIs, the Haiti? Because I imagine that as Haiti builds out its democracy, they will need continuous ongoing assistance with training, etc., etc. About how long do you think before we are at that capacity?
Well, maybe in another year or so, the Bahamas Military and Maritime Academy, they have to be certified by NACOP.
That's correct.
And they will be accredited by international organizations, international universities and school, and that is something that we are vigorously moving towards. And hopefully in the next budget cycle, there's some budgetary requirement.
Yes.
We'll be able to meet those and get that school to the point where we need it, where we can definitely start to train our officers, and that we can offer accredited courses to the civilian population, as well as to our military family.
Yes.
Okay. Now we talked about maintenance and how that plays into training. I know that there is some special training programs, particularly tailored for the maintenance of crafts, that we talked about a little on the break. So tell me a little bit more about that.
Okay, so I would say that the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, we have one of the most aggressive and robust planned maintenance program. Okay? And so what I've implemented since coming to office is the fleet readiness reporting system.
Yes.
And that is fully operational now. And what that does is it gives us a snapshot of exactly the state of every craft, if it is defective, what is required to bring it back into operation, and also the state of the crew. So at a moment's notice, all of that information will be available to Commander Defense Force. And Mr. Miller, as you know, coming up through the force, there was always a planned maintenance program, right? In which the young mechanics, electrician, technician, they would report to planned maintenance officer on a daily basis, and they would be given planned maintenance card, and that card will tell them what maintenance needed to be done on those particular craft on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, and on a yearly basis. And now we have migrated to electronic plant maintenance on the computer. And so all the ship have what you call a MX suite.
Okay.
And on a daily basis, the chief engineer will go there and it will tell him what maintenance should be happening on that craft on a particular day, on a particular week, on a particular month.
And this is no matter which platform, so whether it is the Dauntless, whether it is the do we still have EFs?
Yeah, we see, We have 2 EFs.
Okay, so
that's
whether it is the
operational.
Dauntless, whether it is the EFs, whether it is the new safe boats, whether it is the Bahama class ships, you're saying that this is a standardized operation straight
Yeah.
across the board, that
That is run by a department that is called fleet maintenance.
fleet maintenance.
Okay, and they are responsible for producing the maintenance program for each craft, and that will ensure sustainability of the craft.
And so, and you also talked about the readiness of the actual fleet itself. Do you consider the manpower asset?
Yeah, we consider the manpower asset
Okay.
as well. All of it. And like I say, this new fleet reporting system will let us know the state, the status of the crew as well, whether the ship is properly crewed, whether it has the crew filling all the billets that will allow us to sail. And by going into the system, we can get that information in real time.
All right. Well, if you're just joining us, I'm talking to the commander of the Defense Force, Floyd Moxie. He and his captains have come to join us here on Freedom March today. And he's also now joined by Captain Coral Harbour, Captain Sonia Miller. Captain, welcome to Freedom March.
Pleasure to be here.
So, a phenomenal thing, right? A female Captain Coral Harbour. I told them before you got in the studio that there was a time when the title Captain of Coral Harbour just sounded like a 6-foot man. Today, you and your very historical appointment to Captain of Coral Harbour brings with it any number of new vision, new vantage points, new experiences. How exactly are you building that out as the Captain of Coral Harbour with things like base expansion, disaster readiness, just overall discipline of the base, etc.? And how are you tying that to the commander's vision?
Good afternoon, Bahamas. Good afternoon, Mr. Miller. It's a pleasure to be here. Well, I can say first, taking office as Captain of Coral Harbour Base, I've unrolled my platform, and there are certain priority items that, from coming into the seat, I wanted to prioritize. And coming out the gate for me, it's been the welfare and morale of the Marines. You can't do anything without those.
Sure.
Ensuring that you have that under control and that Marines feel like they are appreciated.
Sure.
Another thing is discipline and accountability. Ensuring that we have a disciplined force, and that all ties into Commander Defense Force's intent.
Right.
And so that has been one of my priority items also. And people being accountable for their actions. The working conditions of the men and women in the Royal Bahamas Defense Force is of utmost importance to me. That, along with ensuring their safety in the workplace. The job of military personnel is very high risk, and so safety is paramount.
Sure.
Strengthening organizational structures to support the operations of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force. That is paramount, because you have our operations sections, but they cannot go out and perform their duties if the logistical and the administrative arms are not supporting their
Correct.
operations.
Correct.
You know, in
Can't say
military,
sandwiches.
okay,
Make sure you get my sandwiches because I need to go to sea.
okay, you want to lose a fight or lose a war?
Yeah.
Cut the supply line.
Indeed.
Okay, and so this is very important to ensure that we are able to continue our operations.
Sure.
And another thing is improving our state of readiness. Well, you know, I come from a disaster management background, and that's how it ties into Commander Defense Forces vision and his intent. And so ensuring that we do this through exercises and training. I say in order to remain a fit, fighting, ready force, you must continuously train. And guess what? You have to exercise to see if there's any gaps in your training.
Right.
So training and exercising is paramount to ensuring that we improve and we stay ready to live up to the task of what is expected to us as deemed in the mandate of the Royal Bahamas Defense
So
Force.
I heard you talk about the force readiness, the training. You also talk about the danger of the platform. I'm going back to this because I also heard the commander himself earlier talk about that sometimes the threats that you face in a seagoing force isn't necessarily foreign elements or even sometimes those external threats. Sometimes the platform itself is dangerous. Are we, I know that there's always been the medical insurances, etc., but are we looking, are there any plans in the mind of the commander or even yourself, Ma'am, as the captain of Coral Harbor, with regards to how do we, one, mitigate those things, and then two, when they happen, how do we make people whole again? Because I think that's always been a massive challenge, not necessarily within the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, because you all train men to run into burning buildings, but a lot of times responding can be stifled when people aren't certain that there will be care or proper care for them after the operation. How exactly are we building that out and ensuring that people have whatever it is they need once the operations are over?
Well, I could say for us that within the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, I think any opportunity we have to make requests or for our insurance to be enhanced, or if we find any loopholes, it's up to us to identify it and put it to our leaders or the government to seek to have it rectified. And so over the years you find that the insurance for personnel in the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, or I could say law enforcement on the whole, has improved. One time ago we never had, we weren't able to get our eyes checked.
Right.
Or even go to the dentist.
Right.
So now we have these included into our insurance. So we continue to agitate for our people to ensure that we have what we need. At the end of the day, we are healthy, and we feel that we are in the right health to enable to execute our duties.
Does welfare come under you at some point as the captain of Coral Harbor?
Well, yes, of course.
Okay. Because I know that there is a staff officer, and I know training and I guess some welfare. So I just wanted to know, how does it play in your role as captain?
As captain of Coral Harbor, HMBS Coral Harbor Base is the heart of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force. HQ, all requests goes to HQ, but they come to Coral Harbor Base for execution. And so the bulk of the men and women of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force are stationed on board HMBS Coral Harbor Base. And as a leader, it will be remiss of me if I do not take the welfare and morale of the men and women of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force under consideration.
Sure.
Because all of those directives and all of that comes from my chair, sitting on base as the captain of Coral Harbor.
Sure. So let's talk briefly about a fraction of the force that, there are some people who may find themselves in positions where either after service or even while still in service, they have served. Are we ensuring that we have the the follow-ups with those people? Some of them, I know that we had started for a while. I keep saying we. I keep saying we. Y'all give me my job back. But I know that there had actually been some move afoot behind welfare checks and that sort of stuff that were outside of Coral Harbor Base, but certainly something that appeared to be a forced direction. Is that still inside the commander's intent to have people that are either home convalescing? I don't want to call them sick and shut in, because if you're sick and shut in, you shouldn't be on the military. But what's the plan? How do you address that?
We have, for our veterans, we have the Veterans Office, and
full-time office.
Yes,
Okay.
and that is led by Commander Judy McDonald. I tell you, she is doing a marvelous job.
Okay.
She could tell you where just about every veteran in the Royal Bahamas Defense Force is.
Good stuff.
And what is their need. And she always make applications for us to assist, and we do our best to do so wherever we can. We have a welfare and morale department. We have the Force Chief Petty Officer Adams, who spearheads that department. Another individual who is doing a fantastic job. He can tell you everybody who's home, who has had major surgeries, and who's been out sick for quite a number, for a very extended period. And so we continue to keep in touch with these individuals. We have the chaplain's office, who also reach out to these individuals
I like your chap, by
and
the way.
pray with them. He's awesome.
Yeah.
I love him too.
He's from Mini Street, you know. I just didn't pick that Mini Street. Yeah, he's from Mini Street, by the way.
And he's doing an excellent job. So those three areas combined, I would say, you know, like every other thing, there's always room for improvement and other things to be taken into consideration. But coming straight out the gate, I can say they're doing a marvelous job.
Good stuff.
Awesome.
So if you're just joining us, I'm talking to the commander of the Defense Force. Yeah, that's Commodore Floyd Moxie. He's here with his team of captains. And we're talking about the first 120 days. It's been 120 days, so does it feel like 120?
Yes, 120. Yes. 120.
So now you've had an opportunity to sit in the chair. You know what exactly is. What is the tomorrow in the mind of the commander? Are we building out new bases? What do we need to expand operational capacity? I know that when we spoke earlier, you had talked about the trifecta. I think it was radar assistance, drone surveillance, and the ability to respond via safe boats.
Yeah, okay.
And
So
the coordination of that, right?
Yeah,
See, I
yes.
was listening. I remember. And how is that plan building out? And,
Okay,
and
so
what do we expect to go in the future?
awesome, definitely, and we building that out. Like I say, our maritime surveillance system, which involve our coastal radar system, that is definitely up and running, and we are co-locating those with our small boats, the likes of the safe boats that we acquired. We had four about 3 or 4 months ago, and they will be at each of these radar stations. So just yesterday, a new safe boat was deployed to Machutong in Nagua, which will work with that radar station. We have a radar station in Gunpoint, Ragged Island. That will be fully tested and operational by the middle of this month. And we will have a small craft there that will be able to deploy, and once target is detected, go and positively identify those targets, which will complement our offshore patrol craft that will be in that area, operating on the Great Bahama Bank. Work going on now in Eleuthera for a coastal radar station in Eleuthera. They are pouring the foundation for that. And we also have work that will commence shortly in Marsh Harbour, Abaco, on a coastal radar station. And just a few weeks ago, about a month ago, we deployed a patrol craft that will be designated to Marsh Harbour, Abaco, and that will work closely with that radar station. Now in the northern Bahamas, we have asked the contractors, we need to move one of those radar stations in Grand Bahama, and we have identified location in 8 Mile Rock because we see a trend with human smuggling from that area, and so we need to circumvent that. And so hopefully we'll have an operational coastal radar system in the western Grand Bahama area. And that will work with our safe boat in those areas as well.
We have about 4 more minutes left before the end of the show, sir. So I just wanna get your final closing words. I want to also speak into your mind about the fishermen and their reporting of low yields this lobster season. I trust that you can also offer them your organization's assurance and commitment to protecting the Great Bahama Bank and Little Bahama Bank, as I'm sure you have that at the front of your mind every day.
Yeah, you know, so we take that very seriously, enforcing the fishery law. And we have at least 2 patrol craft on the Great Bahama Banks. I look at the tracking system today at all times, and we have problems with the Dominican poachers in that area, and you know their mode of fishing have changed over the years. The mothership are not being employed in Bahamian waters now. Okay, so our intelligence telling us that they are operating out of bases in the third countries, and they are deploying their dinghies that are coming into our water. And so we are working on memorandum of understanding with our regional partners, Cuba and the Dominican Republic so that we can have intelligence sharing and collaboration so that we can put a dent into this. And the goal is to have patrols boat out there. And my engineering officer has said to me, they did an assessment and we need an injection of another $29 million to get the fleet up to 80 or 90% operability. The government has committed to that. It started with the dry docking of derivative nodes. We have plans to send 2 of the diamond ship back to the Netherlands. One, 80 Hannah, she will return back for a refit. She was damaged in 2017 and Cash Gorilla in 2021. And so we'll soon have those back in the fight as well.
All right, it's good to have you here, Commander of the Defense Force, Floyd Moxie, and your barrage of captains. Captain Coral Officer Miller, thank you for joining us here on Freedom March. And we're very happy to have you. And you have an open door, so maybe it doesn't have to be the next 120 days, Commander. If you want to come back, please always feel free to come and see us over here at Freedom March. Anyway,